Hello friends, here comes my next video which I have created on budget financial year 2022 that brings big cheer to markets. Now I would like to decode this budget using ABCD approach. So I'll talk about the ABCD of budget 2021 to 2022. Now, what I have observed and the kind of requests I've got from my students in terms of making this budget more easier to understand. Now, this video I have created for my MBA students, and I have given them the headings in the form of ABCD for their ease in understanding with respect to the budget. So every time the budget comes in the market, one needs to focus upon this ABCD every time, every year. So that's how the headings are the points in which the budget revolves. So first of all, starting with the alphabet called A. So we would like to talk about the allocation of funds. Every time government comes up with the budget, and they usually allocate funds in different areas or sector, such as defense, consumer affairs and food, home affairs, rural development. In the similar way, this time also I would like to show you this allocation of funds with the help of an image. Now here you can see this allocation of funds in different sectors. First of all, talking about the defense, then consumer affairs and food. So in defense, it's somewhere around 4,78,196 crore. And likewise, you can see in different sectors: consumer affairs and food, home affairs, rural development, agriculture and farmers welfare, road transport and highways, railways and education. So that's a very important area one has to understand. So every time you talk about this budget, first of all you need to see the allocation of funds given by the government in different areas. Then once you are done with the allocation of funds, you need to find out the asset monetization. Now, how this asset monetization government is doing. So first of all, we need to understand the meaning of this term called asset monetization. So that means government would like to sell their stakes in some kind of PSUs. For example, in this particular budget, if you see, government is trying to start privatization with small PSU lenders. Now, if you see in the Union Budget 2021 to 2022, the government also budgeted rupees 1.75 lakh crore from stake sale in public sector units, including a general insurance company. Okay, so if you see, the Punjab and Sindh Bank and Bank of Maharashtra are the two likely candidates for this asset monetization scheme. Now the third point under the alphabet called A is asset creation. Now we need to understand what this asset creation means all about. So I would like to take you through what our Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has said for asset creation. So that means they are talking about the development of roads, ports and other infrastructure, which would increase demand in core industries such as cement, steel, power generation units and heavy duty machinery, which in turn would generate employment and put money in the hands of the public. So that is what the meaning of asset creation here. Then comes the next point under the alphabet called B, which is borrowings. So as far as concerned about the borrowings from the market, rupees 9,67,708 crore. That's the amount government has said it will borrow from the market through the treasury bills to fund its deficit in the 2021 to 2022 fiscal. So market borrowings for the current financial year was raised to 12 lakh 73,788 crore as against the budget estimate of 5,35,870 crore. So this is an increase of 137% if you talk about the borrowings from the market. Next comes your border security. So for this, you see, the border conflict forced India to speed up the purchase of smart air-to-ground weapons, missiles, rockets, air defense systems, GPS guided artillery, ammunition, tank ammunition and assault rifles. So the increase in capital expenditure for the defense up to rupees 1.35 lakh crore in budget estimates 2021 to 2022, up almost 19% at a time when India is planning to place orders for fighter jets, medium transport aircraft, basic trainer aircraft, light combat helicopters, surface to air missiles and weapon systems was one of the highlights of the data on defense sector. Now moving further towards another alphabet called C, and under this we have got another term called capital expenditure. So government has hiked capital expenditure by 34.5%, and the focus is on boosting infrastructure through industrial corridors, highways, railways, port and power. So if you talk about the capital expenditure budget announced for the year 2021 to 2022, which is higher than the revised estimate for the previous financial year. So this capital expenditure we can see in terms of the road projects and metro rail projects, which is very, very important for the development of the country. Then comes your cess. Now here the government has applied an agriculture cess to receive rupees 30,000 crore, and this amount is expected to be raised through imposition of agricultural infrastructure and development cess of rupees 2.5 per litre on petrol and rupees 4 per litre on diesel. So however, this hike is likely not to add any burden onto the consumer, because the 2021 to 2022 union budget has also proposed the reduction of basic custom duties on these items. So that's the kind of adjustment you can see here, which will help in the agricultural infrastructure and development. Then comes what went costlier and what will be cheaper. So if you see the electronic items such as refrigerator, AC, mobile phones, and the electrical items such as LED lights, raw silk, cotton, leather products, imported automobile parts, mobile phone parts, lithium-ion batteries, printer ink cartridges, solar inverters, solar lanterns, printed circuit boards. So these are the items that are going to be costlier. And what is going to be cheaper? It could be the gold, silver, platinum, nylon, fiber, yarn, aircraft parts, non-alloy and alloy steel products, and feed additives or premixes. That's going to be cheaper. Now, with respect to the compliance requirement, here I would like to mention that the budget 2021 is focused on easing taxpayers' compliance burden and making the tax filing procedure or process more efficient. So which is very, very important when you talk about the compliance requirements. And apart from this, I would also like to draw your attention towards compliance requirements in which the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has mentioned that to reduce the compliance burden on smaller firms, the budget also proposed to revise their definition under the Companies Act 2013. So increasing their threshold for paid up capital turnover. So what she proposed is that she has revised the Companies Act 2013 for small companies basically by increasing their threshold for paid up capital from not exceeding rupees 50 lakh to not exceeding rupees 2 crore, and turnover from not exceeding rupees 2 crore to not exceeding rupees 20 crore. So that was in terms of the compliance requirement section. And now moving further towards the another column, which is the alphabet called D. And under this D category, the first is the duties part. So if you see, with respect to the duties, the government will rationalize custom duty on gold and silver. So with this reduced duty, cost will come down, which is a big positive sign in the longer run for the demand outlook of gold. So further, of course, this will provide a boost to the gems and jewelry sector, which plays a vital role in the Indian economy, which will lead to a thrust towards manufacturing and export. Next comes your disinvestment target. So now, if you talk about the disinvestment target, here the 2021 to 2022 budget estimates to receive rupees 1,75,000 crore through disinvestment. Now, the government has plans to eventually restrict state-owned firms to only 4 strategic areas and disinvest the rest of the areas. And if you see the data from 2010 to 2011, the amount that has realized through past disinvestments is in 2010 to 11 it was around 22,763 crores. And then 2011 to 12 it was 14,000 crores approximately, and then 2012 to 13 23,000 crores. Likewise, it was the highest in 2017 to 18, which was somewhere around 1 lakh crores of rupees. In 2018 to 19 it was 85,000 crore. We have realized this amount through disinvestment. 2019 and 20 was also 49,000 crore. We have realized through disinvestment, but in 2020 to 2021 we have only realized 18,223 crores of rupees only. So now the target is to achieve rupees 1,75,000 crore through disinvestment. So which is a good target here. Now, as I've already mentioned, the 2 state-run banks they have mentioned, the Nirmala Sitharaman has mentioned, along with IDBI Bank in the next fiscal. So in the union budget, the government budgeted 1.75 lakh crores from stake sales in the public sector units. So, and Air India disinvestment also to be completed in financial year 2022. So that was with respect to the disinvestment. And if you talk about the digital payments, the rupees 1,500 crore is the scheme by the government to boost digital payments as well. Now, talking about the developments, that government is more concerned for development, industrial area, and rural area, in agriculture. So that's how they are trying to make attempts through this budget. Now, moving towards the next column, that is under the category of alphabet called E, and under this we need to find out the kind of exemptions government has this time given. So if you talk about the exemption, the senior citizens who are above 75 years of age and don't have any income apart from pension and interest bank, they don't need to file their income tax return. So if you, as per the proposal, such pension and interest income should be received in the accounts of specified banks as notified by the government. So that is with respect to the exemptions. Now, talking about the another point called employment, and with this point, with this budget, we have the government has the focus on job creation, via hike in capital and infra spending. So they are trying to emphasize on job creation through increased capital spending via the National Infrastructure Pipeline, that is NIP, as well as creation of textile parks, disinvestment of public sector enterprises, and enhancement of the emergency credit line to MSME. So guys, the higher the capital spending will help finance projects under NIP, which will not only help in asset creation but also prove to be a stimulus for employment generation as well. Then comes the next point, that is the expenditure. So government has several expenditure with respect to pension, defense, subsidies, central sponsored scheme, and other transfers, central sector schemes, state shares of taxes and duties, interest payments, and other expenditure. Now moving towards the fiscal deficit, which is the another point under the next category of alphabet called F, which is the most important point when you talk about the budget. So the fiscal deficit estimated for financial year 21 was 9.5%. If you see the publications, it was because of the rise in expenditure on account of COVID-19 pandemic and moderation in revenue during this fiscal year. Now for financial year 2022, the government has set a target of fiscal deficit of 6.5% of the GDP. Now let's see how it goes in the coming year. Now moving further with respect to the FDI limit. Now the FDI limit is the very important point here. The budget proposes to increase the permission FDI limit from 49% to 74% in insurance companies actually. So if you talk about for the 2000 to 2020 period, service sector, which includes insurance, had the highest share in FDI in India. Now more relaxed norms could see more investments in this sector. However, FDI for the manufacturing sector has fallen, because the total FDI has increased in recent year. Also, India's share in global FDI is still much lower than that of China. So, if you talk about the sector-wise FDI equity in India share, the service sector has achieved the highest FDI percentage with 16.85. And under computer software and hardware it is 12.49%, in telecommunication it is 7%, in trading it is 5.7%, in construction it is 5%, and in automobile industry it is the lowest, which is 4.93% FDI. So that was for FDI. Now moving further, now I'll be more fast with respect to the explanation of more points, because I just would like to cut down on the timings, because I already consumed some time here, somewhere around 18 minutes. So now the another points that you need to focus upon when you talk about the budget, especially the GST, you need to find out the governance as a point, health, the housing, or what could be the impact with respect to the inflation in the market from this particular budget, and what kind of investments government is trying to do, or probably the foreign institutional investors is going to come to India, and what is the impact of this budget with respect to the products and services, what is the impact on the interest payments. There is another important point if you talk about with respect to this budget is Jal Jeevan Mission. So under this, if you see, the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman announced a new drinking water mission called Jal Jeevan Mission to provide tap water connections to 28.6 million urban households. The program will be implemented over the 5 years with an outlay of 2,87,000 crores of rupees. And in order to understand the budget, we should have the knowledge of different economies, so that we are able to compare what is happening in other countries as well with respect to the taxation and duties and other important headings as mentioned here in this ABCD, and what is happening with respect to the logistics and supply chain management front, and what government has done with respect to the MSME. They have set aside the amount for the upcoming financial year for MSME sector, so which is somewhere around rupees 15,700 crore. Now this is more than double the budget estimated allocation in the financial year 2020 to 2021, which was around 7,572 crores of rupees. So this time the budget is high with respect to the MSME sector. So for MSP also, which is the minimum support price, for which even the farmers are agitating these days. Now, if you see, the MSP purchase of agricultural commodities is raising or improving from, if you compare it from the year 2014 to 15 to 2020 to 21, especially for wheat, paddy, cotton, jute, pulses, and these are just the examples, stuff like that. So now here the finance minister said a new cess is expected to raise around rupees 30,000 crore, which will go towards upgrading agri-infra. So moving further on, the next heading here, N, which is the norms point of view. So government has eased the norms for startup. And if you look at the budget, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman revised the definition of small companies and eased norms for non-resident Indians to set up one-person company to promote startups, and proposed that the government will decriminalize various procedural and technical compoundable offences under the Limited Liability Partnership Act. So the concern is to ease the several norms for startups. That is a very good point in budgets. And then another point is for NRIs. If you see here, so the budget 2021 proposes to provide relief from double taxation for non-resident Indians on money accrued in foreign retirement accounts by claiming relief on tax deducted on such money in India. So currently there is a mismatch in the year of taxability of such funds in India and the respective foreign country. Moving further, we need to find the several opportunities and the kind of, another point is the kind of privatization, policies, pension, portals, and the different pillars. So I'll talk about here the policies first of all. Now, if you talk about the policy, the centre launches voluntary vehicle scrappage policy and announced a long pending policy which is aimed at taking polluting fuel guzzling vehicles off the roads to reduce pollution and congestion. So moving further with respect to another point called portal. So government has mentioned in this union budget that they will set up a portal to collect information on gig workers, building and construction workers. So a portal will be set up to collect info, basically, to provide the benefits like health, credit, food and others. So that's what the finance minister had said in her budget speech in Lok Sabha. Now moving further, if you talk about the 6 pillars of the budget, which is very, very important to understand here. So the first pillar is health and well-being, second is physical and financial capital and infra, third is inclusive development for aspiration India, fourth is reinvigorating human capital, fifth is innovation and research and development, sixth is minimum government and maximum governance. So moving further towards the points under the category alphabet called R, the research and development is very, very important, rural development is very, very important, and the reactions of public and politicians is also very, very important. So if you talk about the reactions, I would like to show you here Yes, this. So the reaction of Arvind Kejriwal, Sitaram, and this Deepak Parekh, HDFC chairman, you can see, and the reactions of Union Minister Amit Shah, Honorable Rajnath Singh ji, and you can also see the reactions from the Congress, Rahul Gandhi. Okay, so moving further, here is another important aspect about the rupee. Yes, this slide is very important, where the rupee is going and how the rupee is coming. So the rupee comes from borrowings and other liabilities, GST, income tax, corporation tax, excise duties, custom duties, non-tax revenue, non-debt capital receipts and custom duties. And rupee goes to, as you can see here, in pensions, defense, subsidies, and centrally sponsored schemes, other expenditure and other transfers, state share of taxes and duties and interest payments. So this was with respect to the R. Now moving further on another point called Sensex. So what is the impact on Sensex? If you see, the Sensex rose to plus 2,314 points. And the bonds, 10-year bond yield in percentage, the bonds went up 15 basis points. In the budget, you also need to find out the several schemes of government and the state share of taxes and subsidies provided by the government, and on another point on social security benefits. So social security benefits I have already spoken about with respect to the opening of the portal that I have already mentioned. The gig and platform workers are those engaged by various e-commerce businesses. So this social security benefit will be extended to platform and gig workers as per the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. Now moving further with respect to the tax slabs, it is very important point because that is ultimately the main point for the common people or the citizens of our country, because more or less they are interested into tax slabs. This time there are no changes in the tax slabs. This remains same as like last year. Moving towards another point called, these are some of the other points you would like to definitely see in the budget. So urbanization, unions, and what is the vision of the budget. If you talk about the vision of the budget, this budget has the vision of self-reliance and features every section of the society. The principles behind the budget, as per our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji is mentioned, the principles is basically expansions of new opportunities for growth, opportunities for youth, and giving a new dimension to human resources, infrastructure development, and helping new sectors grow. So ultimately, this vision is more or less towards the sustainable development of the economy. Now moving towards the other point called welfare funds and what is in it for corporate, what is in it for consumer. So these are some of the very important points that you need to find out in your budget basically. So what is in it for corporates? If you talk about there is an infra push, there are voluntary vehicle scrappage policies, there are no new taxes because the companies now will not have to worry about the impact on their financial. And what is in it for consumer is compliance is easier, depositors are protected, and the more tax certainty is there. So this is very important to understand the taxation or the budget with respect to these points. Now if you talk about the X factors or the errors in the budget, you need to find out what are the critical aspects of this budget, or what is the year-on-year growth rates. You need to compare this budget with earlier budgets, and accordingly you need to find out the results based upon the year-on-year growth. And then you also need to find out the impact of this budget on different states. So in a nutshell, I have given you this ABCD of this budget of 2021 to 2022, every time, whenever the budget comes, this budget actually revolves around these points that I have given you. So these major headings, every time you need to find out in the budget section. So with this, I would like to end this topic, and I request you to kindly subscribe to my this YouTube channel to find out more number of videos with respect to the principles of subjects in terms of the ABCD analysis, which makes your life more easier, you know. So please like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. That is actually a huge motivation for us to produce more number of videos. Thank you very, very much.